Hello and welcome to Niyama, Costa Rica. We'll begin this practice today on the ground in Balasana, connecting our big toes, taking our knees as wide as the mat, working the glutes back towards the heels, and stretching the hands out in front, bringing the forehead down to the ground or perhaps onto a block. Breathing into the full length of the spine for 5 breaths, trying to stretch those fingertips further and further forward with each exhale. Breathing all the way from the tailbone to the center of the back, into the shoulders, the neck, the crown of the head, and all the way back down. Walking those fingertips further and further forward. On the next inhale, we bring the left arm behind our back with the palm facing up, walking the right hand across to the left corner of the mat. Resting our forehead or the side of our face on the mat, giving the ground all of our body weight. Surrendering to the ground, using this time to slow the heart rate, slow the breath, calming everything down. One more breath here. Inhale, stretching forward back into Balasana. We then work the right arm behind our back, walking the left hand across to the right hand side. Just as before, giving all of our weight to the ground. Staying here for 3 deep breaths, continuing to calm and slow everything down. Inhale, working back to Balasana, stretching the fingertips further and further forward, and pressing down to the ground, start to draw the body and the crown of the head forward between the hands. And as you exhale, work all the way back to Balasana. Inhale, come back forwards. Exhale, working back. One more time, inhale forwards, hover and hold. And exhale back to Balasana. Stay for 1 breath here. Slowly working yourself up here into Brahmanasana, tabletop position. Working through Bittilasana, inhaling the chest and chin to the sky, and exhale as you arch the back, tuck the tailbone and chin. Inhaling up. Exhaling back over. Inhale, raise back up, work the chest forwards. Exhale, arching back over. Inhale, meeting back in Brahmanasana, neutral tabletop position. Grip the fingertips into the ground, knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. We then stretch the left leg back behind us, pulling the toes in towards the body, pushing the heel away from the body. Gently tucking the chin, keeping a solid base. Stay for a breath. And as you exhale, we start to draw the knee towards the chin to the knee, and we inhale, reaching back. Exhale, drawing in. Inhale, reaching back. One more time, draw the knee forwards. Exhale, reach the leg back and start to take the leg out to the left hand side, lowering the toes, the sole of the foot towards the ground. Find your stability. Inhale, twisting open the right side. Exhale, threading under. Bringing the right ear to the ground, the left arm behind the back, palm facing up. Just as before, giving all of our body weight to the mat. Slowing the breath. Staying for 3 more deep breaths in. Undo the bind, press the hand into the ground, work yourself back up, both hands into the mat, stretching the left leg back behind you, toes curled in, bringing your right hand out in front into Dandayamana Bhamanasana, stretching your fingertips away from the sole of the foot away from the fingertips. And then work the hand down to the ground, rolling the wrists. Meeting back in neutral table, this time taking the right leg back behind you, toes curled in, pulling the crown of the head forward. And then drawing the knee forwards towards the chin. Inhale, reaching back. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, reaching back. One last time. Draw the knee forwards. Inhale, reaching back. This time the right leg reaches to the right side, lowering down to touch the ground. Twisting open this time the left arm. Exhale, thread the left arm under the right, working the ear to the ground, binding the arm behind the back, palm facing up. Resting here again for 5 breaths. One more breath in. Slowly undo the bind, press the hand into the ground. Bring both hands back under the shoulders, raise the back leg back behind you, toes curled in. This time stretching the left arm out in front of you. Hovering here for 2 breaths. As we come back down, rolling our wrists back and forth. Before turning our fingertips back to face towards us, wrists facing forward, working through Bittilasana. Inhale, raising the chest and chin. Exhale as we arch back over. Inhale, raising up. Exhale, coming back over. One more time. Inhale, raising up. Bringing the hands back facing forwards, coming into Vajrasana. Onto our knees, bringing our glutes back to our heels, lengthening the spine, reaching the arms up to the sky, interlacing our fingers, turning the palms up towards the sky. Stay here for a breath, and exhale, start to lean to the left hand side. pushing the right hip away, stretching the hands away from the hip. Inhale, straighten up. Exhale, work across to the opposite side. Inhale to the center, raise the glutes off of the heels, straighten the spine, reach up to the sky, and as we exhale, we drop the left and scrape the right arm over the head, stretching the fingertips down towards the ground. Stay for a breath. Inhale back up towards the sky and exhale across to the opposite side. Inhale, reaching back all the way up to the sky. Find the height in the spine, bring the palms to touch. An option here as you exhale to begin to lean backwards into this variation of Asta Uttanasana on our knees. Working the hips forward, tucking the tailbone in, staying here for 2 more breaths. Meeting back in tabletop position, curling the toes, raising up into Ardha Mukha, down dog. Begin to pedal out the feet, bending one leg, straightening the other. When you're ready, straightening both legs, working the heels back to the ground, raising the pelvis to the sky. Bending our knees, walking or jumping to the top of the mat, meeting in Ardha Uttanasana, chest open, shoulders open. Exhale, folding all the way forward into Uttanasana. Allow the body to hang heavy. And inhaling slowly, arms wide like wings. Head is the last thing to come up. Raising the arms, reaching the fingertips above the head, and then letting the head roll back, looking up between the hands. And when you're ready, if you wish, raise up onto your tiptoes, working the balance, working the strength of the toes, stretching the fingertips higher and higher towards the sky. Bringing the palms to touch, lower the feet, meeting in Tadasana. Stay here for 2 breaths, grounding ourselves. Inhale, release the hands, raise them up to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana. And as you exhale, fold all the way back forwards, Uttanasana. Inhaling now into Ardha Uttanasana. Bringing the hands to the ground, meeting in a plank position. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Pushing our chest forward, raising the chin to the sky. Exhale, come down, curl the toes, raising back up into Ardha Mukha. On the next inhale, we raise our left leg to the sky in Ekapada Ardha Mukha Svanasana, 3-legged dog. And as we exhale, draw the knee to the wrist, hover and hold, and then step the foot between the front supporting hands, taking your lunge as deep or as short as you wish, and then dropping the back knee, flattening the back foot, bringing your hand inside your knee, working onto the knife edge there of the front foot, looking over the left shoulder. Staying here for 3 breaths, opening the hip as much or as little as you want. Staying here in Uttanapalisthasana for 1 more breath as we twist open. Begin to reach those fingertips back towards your back foot, looking over the shoulder. And then as you inhale, swing the bicep to the ear, stretching the fingertips forward, bringing the sole of your foot back on the ground. Raising your knee, twisting open into Parivrtta Utthita Ashwasanchalanasana, reaching those fingertips to the sky. Remaining here for a few more breaths. Resting the hand to the thigh, working yourself up into a supported lunge position here. And on your next inhale, sweeping both arms up to the sky into Ashta Chandrasana, where we will remain for 3 breaths. Inhale, cactus the arms. Take the arms to a 90-degree angle, trying to stretch those fingers apart, feeling how that activates the arms and the chest, increasing the heart rate slightly. Inhale, bringing the palms to touch, and as you exhale, bringing the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, pointing the fingertips forward, looking over the shoulder. Meeting here in Namaskar, Parsvakonasana. Bring the palms back to the center. Inhale, sweeping up one last time, Ashta Chandrasana. Exhaling the hands down to the ground, stepping our foot back in Kumbhakasana, plank pose. Holding here for a breath. And then dropping the hips to the ground, swaying the hips to the left, looking over the right shoulder, and then reversing to the opposite side. Inhale, center, curl the toes, raise back up, Ardha Mukha, down dog. This time, raising our right leg to the sky in Ekapada Ardha Mukha Svanasana, drawing the knee to the wrist, and then bringing that foot between those front supporting hands again, finding the length of the lunge, dropping the knee, flattening the back foot, resting the left hand in the ground, pushing the right hand inside the right knee, working onto the knife edge on the front foot, looking over our shoulder, remaining here for 3 deep breaths in. On the next inhale, we twist open the right arm to the sky, stretching the fingertips up. And as we exhale, reaching the fingertips back towards our back foot, still looking over the shoulder. Inhale, begin to swing the arm forward, bicep to the ear, fingertips reaching forward, placing the sole of the foot flat back on the ground, raising our back knee off the mat, and then twisting the right arm back open again in Parivrtta Utthita Ashwasanchalanasana. Trying to reach those fingertips higher and higher, feeling that strength and the stability that we have. Inhale the hand to the thigh, working ourselves up into a supported lunge, keeping that front knee strong above the ankle. On our next inhale, we release our hands, raising back up into Ashta Chandrasana. Breathing into the length of the spine, looking up between the hands, holding ourselves strong. And then just as before, working into cactus arms. Gentle flex in the biceps, fingers pulling apart, chest pushing forward, toes gripped. Feeling stable, feeling strong. Working those hands forward to draw the palms to touch as we work our way back into Namaskar Parsvakonasana. Maintaining the pressure between the hands, looking over the shoulder. Staying for a few more breaths. And keeping our palms pushed tight together. Inhale, begin to raise the body back up. Twisting the hips back forwards. Then raising up into Ashta Chandrasana, stretching the hands nice and high. Exhale, bring the hands back to the ground, stepping back into Kumbhakasana, plank position, dropping our hips just as before, swaying side to side, looking over the opposite shoulder. Going at your own speed, as slow or as fast as you wish. Meeting back in the center, curling our toes, raising up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, and exhaling as we began, lowering our knees to the ground. Meeting back in Balasana, knees as wide as the mat, big toes touch, fingertips stretching out in front of us. Staying here for 3 breaths. Pressing our hands to the ground, meeting back in tabletop Bamanasana, pressing our hands in the mat, crossing our back feet, and if we can, just hop forward to the top of the mat. Hug the knees into the chest, shoulders on the ground in Apanasana. Squeezing the knees in tight. Slowly bringing the feet flat, knees pointing to the sky, arms at the side of the body, raising the glutes up, pushing the hips to the sky, staying here in Setu Bandha Sarvangasana for 3 breaths. Slowly working the hands under the glutes, resting the glutes on top of the hands, stretching our legs out straight in front, bringing the feet and knees together, pointing the toes ahead, and pushing down with our forearms and palms, raise the chest and head off the ground. Allow the head to find a subtle connection with the ground, keeping all of the pressure here on the forearms and hands, just using that head and ground connection for a nice gentle stretch in the neck. Staying here in Matsyasana for a few more breaths. And if you wish to challenge yourself, pressing down with your forearms and hands, begin to raise your feet off the ground, and then your head off the ground as well. Balancing here just on the forearms, activating our core strength, just taking a few breaths. And then slowly lower back down, feet flat, knees to the sky, release the hands, raising back up into Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Tucking the tailbone in, working those hips higher and higher. Exhale the glutes to the ground, arms out wide like wings. Allow both knees here to fall to the left as you look over the right shoulder. Breathing into the hip, disengaging everything. And in one motion here, inhale, begin to raise the knees back up towards the sky, and exhale straight back across to the opposite side, this time looking over the opposite shoulder. Inhaling as we raise our knees back up to point towards the sky. Bring the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to fall in their own direction. Arms remain out wide or behind your head, staying here in Supta Baddha Konasana for a few breaths, just allowing those knees to pull down as much or as little as they want towards the ground. Staying here if you wish. If not, now is the time to release your legs, stretching them out in front of you, allowing your ankles to fall open to each side, placing one hand on your stomach, one hand on the heart, as we enter our Shavasana. If you wish to stay here for 5 or 10 minutes, pause the video now and unpause when you're ready. However, if you wish, we meet back in Apanasana, squeezing our knees into the chest and rolling ourselves up, meeting in Sukhasana, cross-legged position, spine tall, bringing the palms to touch in the heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today for this practice. Namaste.